Hey, welcome to part two. This is the example problems that I'm going to do with you. And I'm getting these example problems from a website, cpalms.org. So the first example, we're going to look at the independent variable of weeks, weeks 1 through 8, and the dependent variable of sales in millions of dollars. And so the equation for this data is given as the line of regression of y equals negative 2x plus 20. It models the data in this table. And we want to know, is this equation a good fit for our data points? And so what is the very first thing we're going to do? Well, we're going to have to calculate our residuals. So how do we do that? Well, we organize our data in a table. In the first column, we put our independent variable and then our observed dependent variable. And again, those data points I get directly from the table that was given to me. Then I have to calculate my predicted value that is given to me by the model. The model in this case is y equals negative 2x plus 20. And so I just simply calculate my x values into this equation. Whatever y value comes out, that's what I write in this column. And so 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. Negative 2 plus 20 is 18. That's where this comes from. And I do that all the way down the line with all of these x values. And then finally I calculate my residual. And again, my residual is my observed values here, subtracted the predicted values, which are here. And so going down the line, 19 minus 18 is 1. 15 minus 16 is negative 1. Again, this is going to be below the model. This is going to be above the line of regression. 13 minus 14, negative 1. 11 minus 12, negative 1 again. 10 minus 10 is 0. So I know that this particular data point falls on the line of regression. 8 minus 8 is 0. That data point as well is going to fall on my line of regression. 7 minus 6 is 1, and 5 minus 4 is 1. All right, so that's how I calculate step 1. Step 2, I'm going to simply make a graph, and I'm going to graph my x independent variable on the x-axis, and then this residual that I have here in green on the y-axis. And remember, I'm looking for a random pattern. If I get a random pattern, I'm good. If I get an observable pattern, then my model is not good. When I plotted my points, I noticed a random pattern. There are some points above the line, there are some points on my horizontal axis, and there are some points below it. So I would say yes, this is definitely a good fit for the data at hand. All right, let's look at another example. Again, these examples are from cpalms.org. So I've got this table on the left and I'm looking at ages and salaries. And my salaries are in thousands of dollars. And so what I want to know is if this model right here, y equals 0.2x plus 38, is that a good model for this data? Is that a good line of fit or regression line, trend line, whatever you want to call it? And so what's the first thing I'm going to do? Yes, I am. I'm going to calculate my residuals. I'm going to find out how far these points are away from the predicted values that I get from using this model. Oops, gave you a sneak preview there. And so to get the y value here, I simply plug in my x value into the model. And so I've done the first 3. You might want to pause the video to go ahead and complete the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on your own. So I went ahead and hopefully you did this as well so you can check your answers. Calculated the y value, the predicted value for the rest of these 5 x values, and then I went ahead and calculated the residuals as well. And so these were my residuals. Now it's time for us to make our scatter plot of the results. So again, our scatter plot is going to include the x independent variable and the residual on the y-axis. And as you can see here, these points are making a pattern. They definitely make a curve. And so because we have this curved pattern, we could say that this is not a good model for the data. At this time, you have your notes sheet. On the back of your notes are some practice problems, finding residuals, compare and contrast the lines of fit for two data sets below. We've got this data set and this data set. You may work with your team or work independently and check your answers with the people at your table to describe what the line of best fit does for this set of data, how these are differing, what are the residuals, and then go ahead and determine what the residual plots eventually tell you about these two data points. When you have completed your practice problems for today, you may go ahead and work off of Khan Academy independently to get some extra practice. All right, good luck.